Hi, welcome back. We're still doing pedigree practice, and now they want us to do something with human blood types. Just the ABO type, no mention of rhesus factor here. And they've given us the types of everyone, almost everyone in this pedigree. So that's the phenotypes they're giving us. Let's see how many genotypes we can get before we dig into this. I haven't even looked at the questions yet. I just assume it's going to be useful to know this. So blood type O, lovely. There's only one genotype for that. How many other O's have we got? Not many. Okay. Type AB is also nice because we know their genotype with certainty. They're IAIB. And there are no others. All right. Now, what do we know about these other people? A type A blood means you have the IA allele. The trouble is we don't know what goes with it. The other allele could be another IA or it could be little I. For the B, same situation. IB, and then I don't know what the second one is. All these are going to be one allele known and one allele unknown. IA, IA, IB, IB. Oh, I changed my I style partway through there. IA, IB. That one. We don't know anything about these kids yet. Notice this symbol, the kind of coat hanger, means identical twins. It means there was one zygote that split and produced the two of them. So their genotypes better be identical because that's what monozygotic means. And this person with type B blood is IB blank. So we got all that for free. Now, what can we deduce from these? Grandma here has little I for genotype, and that means she would pass on little I to every one of her kids. So that's wonderful. All four descendants here have little I because of that. What else can we get? This grandfather could be either IAIA or IA little I. Can you tell which based on his two children? Say yes. We can say it's yes because if he were IAIA, all of his kids would get an IA allele from him and they'd all have an A component to their blood type. This one does not, though. His second daughter is just blood type B, which means she didn't get an A from him. She must have gotten something else. And the explanation would be he's heterozygous. He's IA little I. And he passed on that little I. And that's how he ended up having a daughter who didn't have his A blood type. Now, the relation to grandma and this daughter is exactly the same. Grandma did not pass on the B to this daughter. She would have if she were IBIB, so she must be the other thing. She must be IB little I. And so she passed on that little I, and there it is. Right? This is based on the idea that if your blood type is A, you can be either this or this. But if you're this first one, the homozygous case, every one of your kids will get an IA from you, and we can see that is not happening, which means this gets ruled out. And this parent must be heterozygous, they must be IAI. That's what happened with the grandfather, and with the grandmother it's the same thing, only with B's. Okay, so almost done. What else can we find here? Here's a freebie. This father is little I. He would certainly pass that on to his son. It's the only allele he has. And this son got, oh, sorry, I put the genotype over there. Scoot this to the right a little bit. There we are. Okay, so IB allele because they're blood type B, and little I because all of this guy's sons, or all this guy's children, are going to get a little I from him. And finally, we have these two twins. We can't be sure about their genotypes because both parents are heterozygous. The dad is IB little I, the mom is IA little I, so if we try to figure out what happens there, we get a Punnett square, which has the dad is IB and little I, the mom is IA and little I, and when you combine those, you get IA, IB, alphabetical order, and IB little I, order of dominance, IA little I, and little I. So it's an interesting square. There's 4 different blood types in it. These parents could have every possible blood type in their children. They can produce I type AB, A, B, or O. So list of possible blood types, done, just did, based on the information in the pedigree. Okay, yeah. So there's a 25% chance of each of these. Now, these being identical twins, whatever blood type they have, they will share it. It'll be the same for both of them, but if this couple has more children, they have a shot at producing any of the 4 ABO blood types. Now, individuals 2-6 there and 2-7, now they're feeding us more information. They have a child, another child with, sorry, I'm going to move this. All right, I'll just get rid of it. They have a second child, let's make it a girl, who is blood type O. So her genotype is little I, little I. What does this tell you about 2-6's genotype? Well, I think we knew anyway, did we not, that yeah, we knew anyway that their genotype was heterozygous, IB little I, but even if we didn't, we would now know that this kid has 2 little I alleles. One of them came from dad. The other one would have had to come from mom, and so she must be heterozygous. She must be IB little I. I right now, because it's all filled in and I forget what order we did it in, I do not remember precisely how we got this genotype, but even if we hadn't gotten it before, we could figure out from this kid now that if you have 2 of the same allele, one of your folks contributed each of them, so they must each have it. And could I1, so individuals 1 and 2 in generation 1, these 2 parents have a child with the AB blood type? Why not? It seems, if you don't think carefully, you'd go, well, yeah, one of the parents is AB, so clearly they could have AB kids, but it's not what happens when you look at the Punnett square. Here's what the Punnett tells us. Grandma can contribute little I, and that's it. She has 2 copies of little I, so I'm not going to bother with the second row. All of her kids will get little I from her. Grandpa will contribute either IA or IB, and so the genotypes will be IA little I or IB little I. And that means the blood types that that couple can produce are A or B, end of list. Grandpa's got both antigens on his blood cells, but he's only allowed to pass on half of it. That's the law of segregation. And so none of his kids will be AB like him.